That's very important to understand, or either you're making a biological argument that just because you're born black, you'll have this. That will not prove true. That absolutely will not prove true. This is the thing about white supremacy. White supremacist culture is the problem. For example, when they were lynching our ancestors, white culture said it let kids out of school, grandparents came, it created a cultural event out of the lynching of black bodies. Stay with me. But if you as a black man were going to destroy a white man, you could not have called black culture and it come watch you do it.
Mm.
Your grandmother was not coming.
Say more. So Vincent is, sharing something that I think is very, and that's the other thing. You go into places thinking, oh, I'm going to have a good time. And then you're met and confronted with, like he said, looking at him and he and his wife as if they're effing aliens.
Right.
You go into places with your children and then, they're treating you like you're something other than a human being.
I've had it happen. Yes.
And then how do you teach your like what are you telling your children? And Sky Full of Elephants is dealing with all of that, right?
It is.
And now that's been removed.
Yes.
So the goal is, how do we remove that in this time?
That's right.
Not waiting for an event, some sort of event to happen to remove it. Is it something we can do? Let me play this clip from Brian Stevenson. He has the lynching museum. I think it's in Alabama.
Montgomery. Yeah.
Okay. And so he talks to Brian Allen Stevenson was talking about, he's a lawyer. He's like a really, really good lawyer, Harvard trained. And he services people who are, who don't necessarily get his caliber.
Right.
And he was sharing an experience of being in the court. And this happened a lot. Okay. We're talking right now, 866-801-8255. Dr. Daniel Black is here. We started a conversation, if you're just joining us for the first time, kind of talking about Sky Full of Elephants and the messaging of that.
Yes.
But I really want to have a conversation today about identity. And that premise of the book is, if you remove, something happens in the first few pages where all of the people who are identified as white, they walk into the water and they commit suicide, mass suicide, and all that's left are the black people. And something else happens, because identity is really wild, right? Like, how do you see yourself? Who are you without this? Toni Morrison asked the question, who are you without your whiteness?
That's right.
But I'm asking the question, who are you, black person, without your whiteness?
That's right.
So Brian Stevenson is sharing a story of, let me just play it so you can hear it.
I went to Harvard Law School. I've got a lot of degrees and awards. I've won cases at the U.S. Supreme Court, and I've been in courtrooms representing clients, getting there early, sitting at defense counsel's table, where the judge will walk in and immediately get mad at me. The judge will look at me and say, hey, you get back out there in the hallway. I don't want any defendants sitting in my courtroom without their lawyer. And I have to stand up and say, well, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I am the lawyer. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Brian Stevenson. I have to try to de-escalate this situation. And I was doing that recently. I was in a courtroom in the Midwest, and the judge started laughing, but it wasn't an apologetic laugh. And it kind of angered me. And the prosecutor started laughing. They thought it was so funny. And I was sitting there getting angry. And then I thought, oh no, Brian, you can't get angry. You need to smile. You may need to laugh. And I felt that way. I thought that way because my client was not going to be able to leave that county. I was able to leave that county and never come back based on the way I was treated if I chose to do that. But my client was going to have to stay there. So when they were laughing, I smiled. And then I eventually chuckled. Client came in, we did the hearing. But I remember sitting in my car after that hearing thinking, wow, here I am, this middle-aged black man. I'm in my best suit. I actually argued the case at the Supreme Court that we were trying to implement. I've got all of these degrees and awards, and I'm still required to laugh at my own humiliation to do justice for my client. That's not right. That's not fair. And I'm getting old enough to know that when you have to constantly navigate presumptions of dangerousness and guilt because of your color, when you have to tell your children how to survive a police encounter, what to do and what not to do, how they can't do the things that their white friends can do because they're going to be burdened with this presumption. When you have to constantly navigate this world, it's exhausting. And I want something better. I want something better for everybody. And that's why the commitment to truth telling, the commitment to building institutions that help us understand the harms of history is such a priority.
Dr. Daniel Black does this often at Clark Atlanta. The truth telling, that part. I also think, the way in which Brian, most of us have been conditioned to fold ourselves into smaller versions to make other people comfortable or to navigate these spaces doesn't help us because, again, they don't know us. They self-segregate, and then they have these very strong opinions rooted in, all kinds of lies, right? And then we become like special magical versions because, you're not like them, and we love that, right?
Love it.
Meanwhile, we're code switching or whatever, but then they never get to see the frustration or the fact that man was humiliated. You need to feel what I'm feeling right now. And I suspect maybe if Brian Stevenson and others, if we stop making it easier for them to disrespect, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I live a certain kind of way, Dr. Black.
Karen, the thing I would say, and I know many people are going to disagree, and that's great because that's why we have this great forum here. At the root of this is Black people's continuous prayer and belief in white transformation. We keep thinking, I'm not going to have to do what granddaddy did. That's silly. That was 40 years ago. But every 50 years, we keep saying it was 50 years ago. And now we're doing Jim Crow all over again. We are still in this notion that whiteness can change, and we believe in the transformation of white. If we're going to live here, we absolutely believe in the transformation of whiteness. I read a book called Faces at the Bottom of the Well by Derek Bell years ago, and it really changed me. It really, really changed me. He was talking about the permanence, like at the very fabric of America. White exaltation, Black degradation is in the fabric of America, not the fabric of poor people. It's in the academic institutions. It's in the church. It's in the grocery stores. How do you know it's in the grocery stores, Dr. Black? You got Angel's food cake that's white. The devil's food cake is black. Listen, don't make me go. It's everywhere. And I'm saying this because we keep being surprised because we're thinking that there is going to come a day, right? And there's supposed to come a day because we're working for this day, right? That it would be silly, right, to call a man the defendant when really he's the lawyer, right? Or
even worse than that, because even if he is a defendant, he's supposed to be innocent. Because if he's in that court, he's still innocent until proven guilty. He hasn't been proven guilty.
He's not innocent. If he's white, he's innocent until proven guilty. If he's Black, he's guilty unless, and hopefully a good lawyer can prove him innocent. We know that because remember, Black people couldn't even testify in court. So let's be honest. These assumptions, these laws, these precepts that they made, right, that would govern and give people rights, they didn't mean you. It hurts my feelings. Of course it hurts my feelings, but it's true. They didn't mean me then. And when did they start meaning me? Of course, now it's silly. I mean, it's stupid to think they wouldn't, right? See, here we go.
Right. You said something every time you come on a Monday, which I cannot wait for. It's always profound. But I remember having a conversation with you about why we send our children to school, which I think is a more poignant conversation now than ever before. Why we work in the places that we work, that if everybody intentionally, if children went to school with the expressed edict to learn and bring back to the community to build, all of the engineers that go to get these degrees, if you come back and build, the architects, the doctors and nurses and all of the people, the scientists, if they came back, the computer scientists, and built, get the knowledge, get the learning, and the degrees, but come back, because that was the other profound thing about Sky Full of Elephants. The professors didn't necessarily have to have degrees. It was just people that knew how to do things.
Right.
That was so powerful.
Yeah.
866-801-8255. Dr. Daniel Black is here. Today's Motivational Monday is brought to you by One United Bank, the nation's largest Black-owned bank. Take control of your financial destiny and bank where you're wanted. Head over to oneunited.com/Karen Hunter. That's oneunited.com/Karen Hunter, member FDIC. And tonight, I think I'm going to be on John Fugelsang talking about, this latest drop already here. So if you are, interested in delivering a message on Columbus Day about what this country should be about, head over to the globalmajority.com. That's the globalmajority.com and get your shirt. All right. Dr. Daniel Black is here. All the lines are lit as always. Let's go to Ron in Mississippi. Crooked letter I. Hello, Ron.
Hi, how are you?
Awesome.
It's Dr. Black.
What's up?
Everything is good. It's good to hear this conversation as I look at whiteness as a construct. I'm a sociologist, Fisk University, some great professors who poured into me how to really understand the concept of whiteness that Bloomberg created for economic gain. And so we find ourselves now, and I heard one statement in reference to, I just ordered the book, Sky Full of Elephants. I know pointedly as not being from Mississippi, so I'm an outsider looking in at how many whiteness, black people, if I could say that, are in places of power, and it handicaps us as a black people, not a race, because race is a construct. And as a people, we find ourselves handicapped because we have people who look like us that's carrying the water for these white supremacists. And so we're in a dangerous time, and I'm working on a project now to try to create a network in the universities, Dr. Black at Clark included, where we can create a platform called eHistory in Black. Because if they can destroy our history, the next generation, my grandchildren are in trouble.
They can't. And again, like, we got to be real careful how we even talk. First of all, let's stop trying to do things and let's just do them. We don't need to try. We got the ability to just do. And secondly, let's stop speaking into existence the things that we don't want to have happen. Your words are powerful. And that's the other thing that I'm getting from Sky Full of Elephants. How we talk about ourselves, how we talk about one another, the things that come out of our mouths. We have to guard our tongue. The life and death is in the power of the tongue. We have to guard our tongues and how we shape. They can't take our history. It's in the soil. Dr. Black just talked about it's in the trees. It's in our DNA and our mitochondria. It's going to be passed along. It's for us to tap into it. I hate
if I'm not teaching some black kids, if you're not teaching some black kids, then I'm the problem I'm talking about. It's black kids all up and down every row and every street where all of us live. If you're not saying, hey, church, can I borrow the basement on Saturday, right, for a little while? I'm gonna gather up some kids, right, and teach some black history. You do it. Or if you don't get online and say, hey, listen, this is the Black History Spotlight for the day. In other words, use every venue, use every medium you have in whatever large or small ways. That's how we change it. This notion of, dang, I'm mad because the schools won't teach black history. I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that. I've said this before. The notion that we're going to write a proposal to the Lion to teach gazillion history. Not only is it not going to happen, it's psychologically problematic. It is self-defeating. It is a demented idea. Because, and what it's really saying is that the gazelles really concede strength and power unto the lions. That's what it's really saying. That the gazelles are giving away the power to leap unto the lions. But the gazelles can leap 3 times further. And what we have to do is remember who we are. And I'm going to teach the history myself to my own kids. They can't erase my history. It's not even possible. It's not possible. It's not possible. The only thing that is possible is for me to complain and never teach it myself.
Let's go to Nicole, Tampa, Florida. All the lines are lit. So let's shut them down so we can get to as many as possible. Hey, Nicole, got you.
Hi, Karen.
Tampa,
how are
Florida.
you?
Good, great. Welcome.
Hi, Dr. Black.
Hey.
I held on because I've been sitting wiggling in my chair this whole time because this concept of whiteness and you all examining this, I have not heard this to this extent. Probably in the last 10 years, and I'm saying 10 years because Karen, I am a undergrad student of Hunter College, Women and Gender Studies, and during my tenure at Hunter College, I took a course that was called The Abolition of Whiteness. And we were able to take a really deep dive. Now, the professor of that course was a melanemic woman, but I mean, she was able to remove herself from that space and speak about it objectively. And she really, like, it was one of the courses where I was brought to tears because I never realized how I looked at whiteness, how I participated in the culture of whiteness. So I am so appreciative that you all are really taking a deep dive into this and putting this on a national stage, because I think a lot of us don't even realize that whiteness is a thing and it has nothing to do with skin color.
It has nothing to do with people. It has nothing to do with people. Right. Nicole, and thank you. And that's where I really wanted to have this conversation with Dr. Black today, because, you know, they are trying to make it about people.
It's not.
And it's about ideals, and people have choices to lean in. And if you're somebody and you're in a church and only people in the church look like you, that's not the God I want to serve, because my God is much bigger than that. So you should start questioning everything. And just like this, the story I shared with my neighbor who said that her family came from two different cultures, you know, we would call them both white, but within that culture, they were very clear what it meant to be Polish, what it meant to be Irish, very clear what it means to be Italian, what it means to be, you know, English or British or whatever, French. People know what that is. So what's this white thing? And why are you identifying with something that is literally oppressing people?
Yes.
And that teacher, that's her responsibility. Do you know what I'm saying? To extricate herself from this thing. Tomorrow we're going to talk with Tim Wise. This has been his whole entire career. Love him or hate him, this has been the hill that he's out there fighting on. And we need more people to not identify with this current construct, which is going to send us all into the abyss if we're not careful. Well, not us. I ain't going willingly. Let me just say that.
I know that's right.
Matter of fact, let me play Ta-Nehisi Coates. He said something I thought was profound, that about whiteness and about where we are right now, that what else is he not doing is saying profound stuff. But he was on with Ezra Klein, as I mentioned. Ezra Klein is also kind of grappling with some things, and we just need people we need to be able to have conversations. We need to not be shut down because you're uncomfortable, so you want us to be quiet because the truth of the matter is casting a light on you, and you don't want anybody to look at you, but we need to look at everybody at this time. Smith, play that second Ta-Nehisi Coates clip.
I think it'll be close for a very, very long time. I would like for it to be less close too. But
do you think that's within our power or not really?
Listen, I have a friend, and I'm not going to out him. He's a mutual friend of ours who always says, this is the best set of white folks we have ever had in the entire history of Black America. This is the most woke. This is the least racist. This is the most aware group that we have had. You know what I mean? Like, for us, and for those of us who ground ourselves in a larger tradition, this is not close. Like, this is a, remarkable time, in terms of our freedom, as writers and journalists to speak to people, in terms of the amount of people who are empowered and have some amount of privilege and could just look away and are not looking away. It's not a great time politically. You understand what I'm saying? But it's just, it's not the worst either. No.
Words are powerful. Let's call it Dr. Daniel Black. When he said that, I said, oh, you know what? I had to think about that.
And what's so profound to me about that, this is the best set.
This is the best y'all could do. Oh my God.
This the best set. And let me tell you what's so profound about this. Many Black people might argue that this is the worst set of Black people.
Say more about that, Dr. Black. Say. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right, let's go.
Karen, we come from ancestors who were raped, maimed, murdered, slapped, and went to those people's funerals. They wouldn't let us disrespect them. People who held on to character in the middle of trauma. I remember this so well. My great-grandmother, if I was going to demean white people, she would be furious. She'd say, God made him just like he made you. There was always reprimand about it, whether they're black or white. That didn't make any. Grandma's thing that she was teaching me was, you honor human beings, son, period. Whatever they come with. In fact, there was a drunk man back home, right? If we mocked his drunkenness, you talking about the whipping we'd get. Because whatever that man's station is in life, you don't get to demean his humanity for it. My grandmother, they taught us this. They taught us this. And the reason I'm saying that is because as we've moved forward, the notion now of how much ugliness we can even tolerate racially speaking and still hold on to good character is getting tricky. It's getting thin.
Yeah. I mean, it's a sky full of elephants. I can't talk enough about it. We're going to probably do a book club. Or I won't call it a book club. We're going to have what we do in Nubia. We do the thing in Nubia, community.narrative.com. If you narrative with a K, the K is silent like knowledge. If you want to be a part of something, Dr. Daniel Black is about to do a rites of passage, the first ever of what you're doing. And hopefully it's going to be, I think it's going to be all of the things, but we're going to continue this because adults need to have a place where we are challenged in that very way that you're talking about in terms of our character and our meaning. Absolutely. What are we supposed to be doing here? Right. I'm so grateful for that. But I want to read this book with a group of people who know what it is. And then we're going to invite the author in as we've done in the past, like with Howard French, Born in Blackness, when he had that book making the rounds. 866-801-8255. But this notion of people judging people based on what they would do as well is what we're also experiencing. Like you said, people are telling on themselves or they're hiding behind us to shield, oh, the pedophiles in the basement. No, it's you. It's you. Oh, the horrible, it's you. You're the one running cars into places and killing people and setting stuff on fires. It's you. It's you. Bringing bricks to protests.
That's right. Folks talking about black on black crime. So as a distraction from talking about the exposure of how some other folks are actually buying and selling babies
and killing everybody.
Absolutely.
And if you don't like black people, why you care if we're killing each other?
Right.
If we killing each other, what that got to do with you? Ain't nobody. What? But that's how you know it's a lie. That's how you know it's part of.
We could never kill as many of each other as you've killed of us.
All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Margaret. Margaret in Georgia. Welcome to the Karen Hunter Show. You're on with Dr. Daniel Black. Hey.
How are you two doing today?
Hey.
Awesome. Beautiful.
I grew up in Southeast Atlanta, and I want to talk about the value and history all around you and spirituality.
Uh-huh.
So I never felt deprived. I went to Fulton High, and never felt deprived of Black history myself because I always felt like history was always around me. But now I do a lot of walking. So a lot of people don't realize that Oakland Cemetery, I know you know, Dr. Black.
Sure.
Southview and Westview are cemetery, but they're park. But Oakland is a powerful cemetery. And I encourage everyone to visit that cemetery. But, the part where they have the Black part, where they're still trying to recreate it, where the cemetery was originally Black, Black cemeteries, the cemetery was segregated, and they're still finding bodies. But truth be told, they don't lie about the history. The markers don't lie. And, that's where the founder of Maurus Brown is Spelman there. Of course, Jackson, but he on the other side with Margaret Mitchell and them on the other side. But it's a powerful cemetery, and in cemeteries you can find a lot of history.
That's true.
But I also walked behind the cemetery and across from with these trails in Covington, in Oxford, the original Emory. So I walked across to the cemetery, and it talks about the founders and everything. So I walked down
Miss Margaret, we got a bunch of people that want to call in.
I just want to tell you that it's power in the history of cemetery. And as you pass the street, look up that person, find out who H.E. Holmes is. But also find out who the white people like Hartsfield, Alvin Allen, Richard B. Russell, good people and bad people like.
Okay. All right. Somebody said, "Where's Smith?" No, we're not playing because we're not gonna do that to Miss Margaret. Thank you for calling. But y'all, when you call in, be mindful there are other people that want to get it, and we gotta go to a break. Dr. Daniel Black is sticking around. Like,
state your question in one sentence.
Go ahead. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Black. Oh, that's play that again, Smith. Wait, we got a Daniel Black sound effect.
State your question in one sentence.
What? Smith be pulling. Rabbits out of the hat. I love that. Wait, you know what's wild? I saw your mouth wasn't moving, but I heard your voice, so I was confused. I said, "What is happening?" I was too. Okay, I'm glad we both. Okay, play it one more time, Smith. One more time.
State your question in one sentence.
Okay, that's the edict. Thank you, Doctor. The gems keep coming. All right, YouTube, we out of here. So let me thank y'all for holding on, and as well as the folk in Nubia. We're gonna sign off on the live stream.